Ever wonder where our word for history comes from? It all goes back to one guy, an ancient Greek dude named Herodotus. He wasn't just a writer. He was a traveler, an adventurer, and a master storyteller who basically invented the whole field of history as we know it. His magnum opus, simply called the Histories Asterisk, is more than just a dusty old book. It's an epic journey through the ancient world, and today we're diving into why it's still so incredibly cool. So, who was this Herodotus? Born around 484 BC in Halicarnassus, a city on the coast of modern-day Turkey, he lived in a world buzzing with change. The great Persian Empire was the superpower of the day, and its clashes with the smaller, scrappy Greek city-states were the talk of the town. Herodotus wasn't content to just hear the stories second-hand. He packed his bags and traveled extensively across Egypt, Mesopotamia, the Black Sea, and deep into the Persian lands. He was like the world's first investigative journalist, but with more sandals and fewer deadlines. His goal was ambitious. He wrote, "This is the display of the inquiry of Herodotus of Halicarnassus, so that things done by man not be forgotten in time." Inquiry is the key word here. In Greek, it's asterisk, historia asterisk, and that's where we get history. He wasn't just listing kings and battles. He was asking asterisk, why asterisk? Why did the Persians and Greeks go to war? What makes different cultures tick? He wanted to understand the causes and effects, the human motivations behind the great events of his time. The central story of the Histories Asterisk, is the epic conflict between the Persian Empire and the Greek city-states, culminating in the famous battles of Marathon, Thermopylae, and Salamis. You've probably seen the movie 300 well. Herodotus is our main source for that heroic last stand of the Spartans. He paints a vivid picture of these massive, world-changing wars. You can almost feel the tension as the tiny Athenian fleet faces the gigantic Persian armada, or the desperation and courage of King Leonidas and his 300 warriors. But here's what makes Herodotus truly special. He doesn't just stick to the main plot. He goes off on these amazing tangents, these fascinating deep dives into the cultures he encountered. He tells us about the Egyptians and their bizarre custom of mummifying cats. He describes the Scythians, fierce nomads who lived on the steppes and had some very intense rituals. He talks about giant gold-digging ants in India. Okay, maybe he got a few things wrong, but that's part of the fun. These detours, or digressions, are what make the book so rich. Reading the Histories is like sitting down with the most interesting, well-traveled person you've ever met. 1 minute he's analyzing military strategy, the next he is telling you a ghost story from Egypt or a scandalous tale about a Lydian king. He was endlessly curious about everything: geography, religion, politics, strange animals, and local legends. He wasn't just a historian. He was an anthropologist, a geographer, and a folklorist, all rolled into one. Of course, people then and now have called him the father of lies just as often as the father of history. Did he believe every tall tale he was told? Probably not. He often prefaces a wild story by saying something like, "This is what the Egyptians told me," but I'm just reporting it. He was grappling with a huge challenge. How do you separate fact from fiction when your sources are all oral stories, rumors, and memories? He did his best to cross-reference his information, but he also understood that the stories people tell are a form of truth in themselves. So, why should you care about a 2,500-year-old book? Because Herodotus teaches us that history isn't just about dates and dead kings. It's about people. It's about understanding different ways of life, about asking questions, and about the incredible, often strange, and always fascinating story of humanity. He shows us that to understand the present, we have to explore the past with an open mind and a sense of wonder. If you love travel, adventure, and incredible stories, you owe it to yourself to check out Herodotus. He's the original, the Og of historical storytelling. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this journey back in time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from history. See you next time.